Welcome to the Daily Crossing. We have a special video that's going to go out to you, especially if you're looking to embrace the possibility of becoming an entrepreneur. Alexis Smith, everybody knows you now. You're a familiar face when it comes to the, especially because of the podcast that we do together.
Yes.
But I definitely want to give you the opportunity to reintroduce yourself to everybody, especially because this conversation today is going to be extremely important given the fact that the economy is taking us to certain places.
Yeah.
I think that when an economy becomes very challenging is when a lot of people really start thinking about, should I really become an entrepreneur? But a little bit about your background also.
So one, thank you for always having me on, whether it's the podcast or something special like this. So appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Just tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name is Alexi Smith. So I actually been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. Honestly, I feel like I was born an entrepreneur. No, but I started my first business, me and my wife, when I was 20. So we had a spa that we owned and operated. Then eventually we ended up getting another spa, so we had two spas. And then from there, had a lot of different things. I was like one of those, really, even before then, I think I started my first real entrepreneurial thing was when I was in elementary school. I was selling blow pops, right? So that was my first business was when I was like 7. I was selling blow pops, and I'll buy the bag for like $2.50, and then I would sell all the blow pops for $1 each. I'll make $5 from the bag. So really, like I said, as long as I've been
doubling your money.
yeah, correct. And I was in what? Second, third grade, so that was pretty good, But yeah, so I've always been an entrepreneur, obviously, even still today, not doing anything that I was doing in 6th grade or, no longer have a spa, but still today, still an entrepreneur, so.
Well, I know you today as a successful entrepreneur, and I also know you as somebody that trains a lot of people. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know essentially that many people that I know for a fact they have already gone through your trainings, that have successfully also learned to do certain things when it comes to being an entrepreneur and also how to make some money. And that's probably my first question, though. We're looking at the economy. How do when somebody's looking at, we're going into the holidays.
Yeah.
It's the stress of the holidays that makes you think about, man, what else can I do? And all the news are not looking good when it comes to where the economy is going.
Yeah.
So how do I make more money?
So you got a couple options, and it really depends on how much more money you want to make. Because if like for example, let's say I just want to make a little bit extra money just for my kids because I want to make sure they can get this gift for Christmas, or I want to just make sure I can get the big turkey on Thanksgiving. So something like that, it's as simple as do exactly what you're doing now, just do more of it.
Little more of it.
Yeah, just do it. So if you have a job, work a little overtime, or pick up an extra day. Or if I have a sales job, I'm just gonna do a sale, or I'm gonna do a promotion to where I can increase my sales just a little bit. So just do exactly what you're doing, but do more of it. I think most of us are operating maybe 50% capacity, maybe, and I'm being generous, So it's not hard for any of us to just do a little more, and that can make us a little bit more money. But now, if I'm trying to make a lot more money, then that's a different scenario. I might have to change careers. I might have to, think of something completely different because I can't go from 35,000 to 80,000, 100,000+ just by doing a little more of what I'm doing. You get what I'm saying? So it really depends on how much more you're trying to make for what the answer is,
When I first came into the country, I always tell everybody, I'm not trying to sound like Julio Iglesias on purpose. I was born somewhere else. But when I first came into the country, I went around asking everybody, hey, how do you make $100,000? How can you make $100,000? Let me ask you a question. If my job is not gonna ever give me the possibility to make $100,000, what do you recommend that I do?
So you got options. Once again, that's the great thing about America. You have options. It's not like, oh, you only got one choice. No, you got a lot of choices. But number one, there are jobs where you can make $100,000. You just got to know if your job is one of them. For example, if I'm a teacher, I'm never gonna make $100,000 as a teacher. Definitely, unless, I don't know what Harvard teachers make, but I know like regular teachers, they're not making $100,000. So number one, if it's gonna be a job, you're gonna have to decide or determine, can this job allow me to reach that? And if not, you're going to have to change careers. Most jobs that will give you that type of income, you're probably going to have to get a degree. It's going to require you to go to school for 4 to 12 years. That's, depending on what the
Correct.
job is. So that could be it. You need to change careers. Number two is you can become, let's say, an independent contractor, right? So then that could be, or like a sales professional, something along those lines. So with something like that, you can get a certificate, you can get a license, you can start making money. Any job where you can have a license or certificate, you can make $100,000. I would say, with that, it's just a matter of structuring your business properly, for that. But really, the best way to do it is to go into entrepreneurship. Meaning, I'm not working by myself. I'm working with a team of people, right? And through my business, 100% you can make 6 figures, 7 figures. But before we get to 7, let's start at 6. So that's what I'll say.
You just highlighted something extremely important.
Yeah.
It took me years to understand just simply what an independent contractor was,
Yeah.
right? And then obviously the difference between an independent contractor and somebody who's a business owner.
Yeah.
Can you highlight that a little more or
Yes.
explain it a little?
Absolutely. So there's different types. So for example, even with me, one of the last jobs / kind of businesses I had, I was actually an independent contractor where I was working by myself. I would get contracts. So I didn't own the contracts, but the company that I was working with, they would get a contract for me to do like deliveries.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
And then so I would get paid per contract.
Got it.
But at the end of the day, I only get paid when I worked. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then that's usually with the independent contractor. They have a set job. You'll make a lot more money for that job than you would say getting paid hourly. But at the end of the day, you're still limited because it's based on that job, right?
And the fact that I'm an independent contractor
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I'm a business owner.
Not necessarily. No, not at all. Not at all. And
Okay.
it feels like it though. It feels
Got
like
it.
it
Got it.
because as an independent contractor, you don't have the same constraints as an employee. So you're not working like 9 to 5. So as an independent contractor, I can choose: do I want to take this contract today? Yes. Do I want to work next weekend? Yeah. So it feels like I'm a business owner because I get flexibility with my calendar. I can sometimes you can even negotiate contracts to where you can say, oh, you know what, I don't like that. Can I get paid a little? So it feels like a business owner, but at the end of the day, no, you're not a business owner.
And I think that it's easy to connect it to for somebody to understand it or relate to it a little more when you think in terms of an Uber driver, a
Correct,
real
yes.
estate agent,
Yep.
a mortgage broker. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes.
All of these guys are independent contractors, but they don't really own the business.
Yeah, no.
right?
So with me, I was a courier when
Got
I
it,
was an
got it.
independent contractor. So I would deliver packages, but at the end of the day, I didn't own the company. They decided what contracts was available at what
Yeah.
time. So it was good, but like I said, it wasn't the greatest.
So one of the
Yeah.
reservations that I have coming into business is because again I was not
Yeah.
clear about the path of an independent contractor because sometimes that's the sequence of baby steps, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go from okay, I have a job.
Yeah.
Let me take you to something that makes me a
Yes.
little more money. The independent contractor is going to raise that
Yes.
possibility, but then I got to go into a business owner. Typically, to become
Mm-hmm.
a business owner, you got to put a different investment though. It's
Mhm.
not just an investment of time now.
Yes.
It's also an investment of money.
Correct.
And believe it or not, that helped me back a little bit for a
Yeah.
few years because that was the only understanding. And maybe it wasn't a bad thing because
Yeah.
it forced me to save money, right?
Yeah.
I was saying, man, I'm gonna need X amount of dollars, so I spend a few years.
Yeah.
Literally, that's all I was doing, saving some money to be able
Yeah.
to get to the moment where I got my first
Yeah.
business, which was through an investment.
Yeah.
So difference between the cost of a business,
Yeah.
obviously, is a different. There's
Yeah.
a different scenario for everybody.
Yeah.
Cost of doing business is always a factor, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
But what type of different businesses are,
Yeah.
and how would you explain those?
Yeah,
things
so
to
no
the-
matter what, we always hear this term. It takes money to make money. I don't care what anybody says. So, for example, can you get a job without any money? Technically, yes. But what kind of job are you getting without any money?
But at some point,
Right?
you're gonna have to spend gas to get
Yeah,
to work.
but
and you're gonna have to
even still, what I'm saying is, if I get a job at McDonald's,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost me anything. I can just walk in, I get the job. But if I want to be a doctor, it's gonna cost me money. I cannot just walk into the hospital. Hey, I'm here,
ready.
doc.
I'm
Yeah,
ready.
no.
Okay.
No, you got to go to school for at least 8 to 12 years,
Yeah.
and we already know school's not free. So for you to get a job making over 6 figures, it's gonna cost you money. I don't care what anybody says. Even me as an independent contractor, it was still an investment. I had to have my own truck. These trucks aren't free, and if I don't have my own truck, then I'm not an owner operator. Then it's a different setup. You know, you don't make nowhere near as much money. You know, so that was even an investment.
Correct.
You know, so I think no matter what, you got to know it's going to cost you or take you money to make money. It's just, but the big thing that I was looking at was what was the return on my investment. Because as an employee, I already know, okay, I'm going to make this much money and it's probably going to stay the same pretty much for forever.
You know, it's funny. The second thing that I was troubled
Yeah.
about when we're talking about that $100,000 is
Yeah.
the amount of people that went around and they just simply didn't know how to make
Yeah.
$100,000. And again, in this country,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You come to the United States because this is the land of opportunity. This is you're expecting
Yeah.
that you really believe that everybody's making
Correct.
$100,000. The second thing is this: there's always a negative connotation to money, right? It's the
Yeah.
whole idea that you're a greedy person. Why are you thinking only about money and stuff like that? But the
Yeah.
fact of the matter is, and we started the conversation talking about the holidays, right?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of Christmas you want to have with your family, what kind of Christmas you want to have with your wife, your children.
Yeah.
These things take money, though.
Absolutely,
And I will argue that today, making $100,000 is no longer something that I want, it's something that I need. It's
Yeah.
more of a necessity.
Correct.
How do we, but what would you say to people that are looking at this whole getting to $100,000
Yeah.
as to whether, because for me, man, like everybody should be making
Yeah.
at least $100,000.
Yeah, so according to even Patrick, but David, the new 100,000 is 250.
It's 250.
So yeah, 100,000 today. Really, you just getting in the game. Like you're not really doing anything special. But for me, I think the biggest thing that I was thinking about, that I would say everybody needs to be thinking about, is how can I scale, and is it even possible? So, for example, if I have a position where I start at 50,000, is it even possible for me to double my income?
Correct.
Because for a lot of positions, it's literally impossible. There's no way for you to double what you're making, right? So it's less about where I'm starting and is there even a possibility of me doubling and doubling again? So for me, that was the key thing that I was looking at. What led me more to what I'm doing now versus what I was doing before is how fast I was able to double.
Got it.
You
Got
get
it,
what I'm
got it,
saying?
got it, got it.
So yeah.
So if I'm a new guy, I'm coming up
Yep.
and I'm trying to embrace the path of entrepreneurship,
Yep.
right? Because I understand now that, you know what, my job is not going to take me to where I want to go.
Yep.
I think I can do a little more. I see myself as that person. What are some of the best recommendations or things that I need to do if I'm start walking in that direction,
Yeah.
that path?
Yeah, so honestly, here's the thing. It depends on where you're starting. So some people, they have the luxury of, I have a little bit of money, so I can make a bigger investment. So then your path is going to be a lot easier than the person who has nothing to start with, right? So depending on whether the person has money to invest in a business or not, changes what options are even available to you,
Correct.
right? But for the average person, let's say the average person who doesn't have an extra $50,000 laying around to get started on a simple business, not even a big business, then in that scenario, you got to be thinking about, okay, what ideas or what businesses can I start where it has a low cost of entry, right? That's number one, a low cost of entry. And number two, it still has the ability for me to get unlimited income, which there are very specific businesses you can do and start, in that answers both of those questions.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about, I don't know if you remember before Toys R Us disappeared, right? And I think they tried to set it up even at a Macy's now. You know, I used to go to the store, and you see parents, especially right now, holiday season, place was always already packed with people. It's always packed, but it's always, and you see parents in two different positions, right? Either constantly telling the children, we don't have the money to get that, which is got to be, I can only imagine how painful, right? How painful it is for somebody that has the responsibility to provide for family, for the children, to help them, keep dreaming, right? That's an important component for a child to be able, for that dinner that you're going to have with your family at Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? That sometimes is just not what you want it to be. You're grateful no matter what. Then at least you're able to come together as a family, but he's still not experiencing what you want to experience. I tell people that I don't work for the money. I work for the things that I can do with the money.
Correct.
I like us to sit down and have a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And that if I have my children and I'm trying to help them continue to dream, that I can help provide. I want to support that platform, but all of these things, really take some money. The other group of people that you have there are the people that are really doing just that. Like they are taking your dreams and they want to see how to make them bigger, how to get everybody to support. For somebody that's saying, man, yeah, in one end it's capacity, and the other side is I'm trying to help my next generation to have a better life. Everybody wants that, to be
Yeah.
able to say, I want the next generation to have a better life than the life I had. I think
Yeah.
we all go through that process.
Yeah.
Are you still right now, because I know that you have an agency within the life insurance industry, are you still training, developing people? Are you still helping people to get licensed? Are you still
Yeah.
training a new generation that wants to become part of the environment?
Yes.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, that's a very easy, low cost, as you describe it,
Yes.
way of entry,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and before I even answer that, just so you guys know, even before I got in the industry, so I made six figures doing, like I said, when I was doing the courier business that I was in, but the difference is when I transitioned to financial services, not only was I able to make six figures, it cost me, I would have, oh my gosh, maybe a tenth, not even a tenth. I don't even know, but I spent a lot of money on buying trucks, and it was a crazy situation. So yeah, so right now, so the business that I do now is financial services. 100%. We teach people all day, every day, as far as not only how to get into the industry, but how to be profitable in the industry. It's low cost, and it's at the end of the day the highest paying industry in the world right now. There is no other industry that pays you as much as financial services. And what's so crazy about it is not only is it the highest paying industry, but it's one of the easiest ones to get into.
Right.
It's one of the easiest ones to get into. So 100%, I would recommend somebody looking into financial services as an industry, and they can actually reach out to us directly. And we can help you get into the industry. And so there's two ways you can think about this. One, I just need a little bit of extra money on the side. So you know what? I don't necessarily want to do something completely different. I don't want to quit my job tomorrow. But I know Christmas is coming up. I know there's things that I want to do for my family. I want to make an extra $1,000. We can show you how to make an extra $1,000 by doing something just part time. Create a new side hustle for yourself. So that's number one.
Okay.
We help people get in the industry, just to create some additional income. But number two, we show people how to make six figures. A lot of times people will talk about it. The reason why we have these rings is because we make six figures or above, right? And that's what we teach people how to do. So we teach people how to not just make money, but to grow a business. And the key thing that I want to highlight with that is that when you have a business, you're making money even when you're sick. You're making money even when you're on vacation, So that's and yes, we do work hard. I don't want you to think we just on vacation 24/7, but still, the money doesn't stop just because you wanted to take your kids out,
Correct.
for something.
Correct.
So yeah, we teach you how to do that. Definitely, we encourage people who are looking for either that additional income or to change industries so you can make over six figures, to let us know so we can help them with that process.
Most people out there
Yeah.
right now become are dealing with information overload, or they become frozen
Yeah.
by, literally paralyzed by
Yeah.
fear.
Yes,
What I
yes.
mean? What do I do next? How do I find you if I want to get
Yeah.
additional information? What would be the best way to reach out to you? I
yeah.
don't. By the way, just how do I overcome that? Because
Yeah.
most people right now, they could be watching this conversation, still saying, "Man, this could be a good idea. I can take some baby steps. Let me at least look into it." Because that to me is the crazy part of it, right? Is that
Yeah.
people have the ability to learn a little more about something specific area. At least how do I get it to work?
Yeah.
They don't take a single step. How do I overcome that?
Yeah.
And how do I find you?
Yeah. So two things. As far as overcoming it, there's no way to know how you're gonna do something until you do it, right? But the
Fair
great
enough.
thing about this is that you can take baby steps. It's not one of those things where all right, I'm gonna dive, head in, or I'm gonna invest my life. It's not like that. Literally, somebody can reach out to us if they have literally 1 or 2 days a week to dedicate to earning some additional income. We can teach them how to do that, on a part-time basis or even on a referral basis. So the not only is the cost and the point of the barrier for entry is small, but the commitment is small as well, for somebody who's just getting started. So then now you can get a chance. All right, let me see if I like this. I'm going to learn a lot. I'm gonna earn some money, and then from there we'll see how big we can take it. As far as getting in contact with us, you can comment right below. Comment right below. Just comment below $ right, and then we'll reach out to you. But I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. Builders Coalition is on Instagram. And
That's
then also,
the handle.
Yep,
That's
Builders
the
Coalition.
Yeah.
Phone number. Yeah, we'll post it in the
Phenomenal.
Absolutely,
We'll put it in the video.
Absolutely.
I'll be
Yeah, they
actually
can call
going to put
me.
all your handles and,
Yep,
and
there you
everything connected so they can find you.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have a question. I'm
Yes.
expecting a simple yes or no answer.
Okay.
If I reach out to you
Yes.
and I follow guidance,
Mm-hmm.
structure, and the set of instructions that you provide me,
Mm-hmm.
can you help me? Can you help somebody reaching out to you learn how to make $100,000?
Absolutely.
Fair
The only, and I know you said yes. The answer is yes, but it's not because of me. It's because we actually have a proven system and it works, right? So as long as the person follows the system, it works every single time. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, for everybody watching, listen, you got nothing to lose. The fact of the matter is that would be my only recommendation.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're going to be able to be part of an industry or how well you're going to do in that industry,
Yeah.
but you owe it to yourself to, whenever you're watching something like this, you better believe that something like this was created for you.
Oh, absolutely.
For the purpose of at least planting in your heart and your head the possibility of going from simply working for somebody else to becoming an entrepreneur, from being able to add an extra few $100,000. If you want to go at that level, right, to saying, man, I want to become that person that's going to be the first person making $100,000, $250,000 with my family. Like, don't you want to be that person? Wouldn't you like to feel? But if you don't want to be that person, I want you to ask yourself the question right now: how helpful it would be if you were able to have. You spoke about making an extra $1,000 per month. That's $12,000 for the year, right? Well, if I'm only making 35,000, I'm enhancing 33%.
Yeah.
I'm adding 33% to my income. I don't know that I'm gonna get that kind of raise anywhere in my job. And how many things can I pay with an extra $1,000? Can I do a car payment? Can I pay almost most of my rent, at least half of my rent? Can I pay? However it is going to help you, and you'll find your way around. But that would be a recommendation. Listen, I appreciate your taking the time to do this and to putting this message together for everybody.
Yeah.
Any final message for?
Yeah, absolutely, and it goes right in line with what you just said. At the end of the day, there's some people who they are fine with how things are going with their life. Nothing wrong with that. But I know for a fact, because this was me at one point, where I knew I wanted to do something different in my life. I knew I wanted to be in a better position financially. If that is you, definitely reach out to us. And not only are we going to show you what path you can take to be in a better position financially, but definitely when it comes to the education, what financial literacy, you'll learn all the tools you're going to be able to take with you forever. So that's my message for everybody.
Couple of basic books that we recommend you have in your Rich Dad Poor Dad. This
Fire.
should be a Bible for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And the second one is Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. This will be extremely helpful
Correct.
for anybody that's thinking on taking some baby steps. In the meantime, let's go make $100,000.
There we go.
Fair
I like
enough.
it.
Thank you for watching. If this is helpful, pass it around.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
comment, send us information. If you have any specific questions, we'll make sure that Alex knows
There we
how
go.
to reach out to you. All right?
Awesome.
Take care, everybody.